Good morning. So yesterday, as we all know, selling picked up. Prices broke down under last Thursday's low, and that suggests they're going down to the next level or lower. And I'll get my little drawing thing out here. So it typically sets up a measured move type of a scenario, which would probably put it even lower if that's gonna follow through. Now, I always look at these type of patterns, especially something like this, where it came back off of the low, and we see that things are backing off here. It's got a nice little sell setup right there on the hourly time frame, especially with that little topping tail right there that took out the highs and got knocked right back down a little bit. So I mean, it's already it's triggered. It's going down a little bit. It's coming down near support. So if you're a scalper, it's not a good place to enter, especially just before the market's opening. But anyway, so with this pattern, and okay, and because this is a news-driven market, as it is, when I see especially breakdowns, now this is a buy setup failure, and that's got a little bit more punch to it because we know by this pattern that buyers were stepping up here last week right above the converging moving averages. And when they came down to the 50, the institutions were right there to pick up shares and drove it right back up again. And then, as you all know, Friday was the consolidation day, but still a little bottoming tail bar. So buyers were there ready to profit on this going up. Nothing wrong with that. The pattern did suggest it. And that is why it has this shock element to it. Now, the question is, was yesterday's selling, which was relatively intense intraday, was it enough? We don't know yet. But when I see a breakdown like this, and it has this, what I'll call a minor bottoming tail bar on it, you got to be real careful if you're on the short side. And today turns out to be an inside day that hangs here. Because if it takes out that high, historically, this becomes a breakdown failure. And when you have a shock versus another shock, meaning here's the buy setup shock didn't follow through, and then the breakdown turns into a shock pattern like that, it's going to be violent because you've just got traders and institutions that got caught on one side, then the other. And then because the overall pattern hasn't totally broken down yet, meaning it hasn't broken down below here, where it's so obvious to everybody that, you have to, you probably incurred so many losses, you're hiding under the table, but you don't even see what's going on. But meaning it's so obvious that it's broken down here that there's no other way to look at it. So if we should get this consolidation day today, and then tomorrow it trades above here, we could easily see this come right back up to the top here. And if that happens, the historical pattern is then it does go up. So I only put that out there to make everyone aware and be prepared for those kind of scenarios, because after a day like yesterday, it seems inevitable that it has to come down here. Maybe it does. I don't know. This is in a downtrend. We've got a sell set up right now. The 15-minute being at support. If it doesn't bounce up from there and we don't start getting the consolidation day, maybe it just goes down. We'll see where it is at the end of the day. So, I always throw out this kind of information as to these type of patterns that occur to be prepared for whatever does happen. So we use bar by bar analysis along with what preceded it to stay in the moment of what is and not get stuck in, the past. So we'll see about today. But it was a big wide range day. And most of the time, wide range days are followed by some kind of consolidation day. Now, just be aware there that wide range days are momentum moves in a smaller time frame. So this consolidation that occurred on support yesterday, that would be the only line in the sand I was looking at, this is 24-hour chart, but there's only this line in the sand here is the only thing that will stop that from moving higher. So you want to keep an eye on this level, because if it can get through that, this could turn into something like that. And then we're all going to know what to do if we should see that. So, all right, let's take a look at the NQs. So a narrower range relative to the ones that preceded it, showing some strength here pre-market compared to the S&Ps. Pretty wild. You know how this was moving up yesterday morning while the S&Ps were down. It was really weird. It was like the NASDAQ stocks, the FANGs were showing such strength, and everything else was weak and looked like they were going to go lower, especially the Dow. And then eventually this rolled over, as we all know now. It's kind of grinding back up. So this is, historical patterns. This is more along the lines of what could be a breakdown failure. You notice the bottoming tail's got the longer tail on it. So anyway, we'll see how far this gets today as into this bar. And one of the things that we look at is not only retracements from a swing low to a swing high, but we look at retracements between bars. So this isn't a bearish bar like this, but to make the point, this big red bar here was retraced 100%. And that was bullish at the time. So if we get a bar that retraces all the way back up to the top of that and closes there, at that point, we got to be thinking long. If tomorrow, if this is a breakdown failure, you have to be a buyer if it trades above here, right, the next day. We'll see where this bar ends today. I am. Now, that's pretty convincing as a breakdown. And it took out the low. It's a wide range bar. And in this scenario, and this is one of the things that makes the markets confusing right now, is that this misalignment of what's going on between these markets. So that was the Dow weaker. So here, our analysis is it needs to stay in the lower half of this bar. What is that? Oh, Trader McGraw, are you trying to give me brain damage early in the morning? Plus the gamma flip to negative. Oh boy. That's above my pay grade. All right. So with this pattern, we're looking on the bearish side to stay in the lower half of the big red bar. So we'll see where this gets into that or not. We've got a rounding top over here and that topping tail, which suggests lower. And you got to be careful after a big move like this to the downside and getting this kind of a sell setup with the shallow retracement. It has a tendency to be whippy, but just caution thought there. It could retest the low, which would be a decent trade intraday. Okay. Russell, you can see the green stall and down. Of course, that is a bearish pattern, but it's going to have to break the low for confirmation. So far, it's more of a crazy consolidation within this up move. We'll have to see if this follows through or whether it's just part of a sideways consolidation. A lot of uncertainty here still, this kind of whippy action that did occur. Yeah, Mike, I spoke about this, the other patterns, MTOP, talking to Mike in YouTube. Oh, it's asking, what are your thoughts on combining companies' revenue and earnings growth to capture long-term trend? I really don't know about that. How much you want to rely on fundamentals and whether you think it's real, but if you do a screening for that type of information and the chart matches, use it. I'm not against using that kind of information. It's just not something that I have an expertise in. All right. Oil had same down day. It's kind of been following equities, so down move and consolidating like everything else. Gold consolidating here, and we've talked about this potential breakdown failure from the day it happened. We just haven't gotten any confirmation by it being able to get above these highs here. So with a breakdown failure, while this is retraced a decent amount, we really need to see it get right up into these overlapping bars right here to start absorbing that supply, which we could say it's done to some extent, but we need to see prices push into it, or it's just been stopped there, as you can see. And it had the second attempt to get through it, and it hasn't done it. So we need to see it push up above this area, and then we'd have a confirmed breakdown failure. They usually don't take this long, but this one certainly is. No clues from silver. Just waiting. They're just waiting. And we all are with this election to come. And we're a week away. And Transports broke down yesterday. They've been bullish, hanging up there after making a new all-time high. So we're just going to have another wait and see day here. We'll see what crazy moves occur, or quiet ones maybe today, since we had the wide range bar yesterday. And I said it's usually followed by a consolidation day. And if that's the case, that means some choppy price action. We'll see how it unfolds. All yours, Dan. Bitcoin's still strong. I don't hear Dan.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Pre-market.
Say again?
Pre-market, your turn.
Oh. You're early. Good morning, which is good because I got a ton of earnings to go through. All right, so we don't have that many opens actually. We've been managing things pretty well. I'm glancing over everything, and we're fine. So unless you have a question about an open, let's look at all these gappers. This SIP I was watching yesterday, in a free fall here. But look at the 15-minute. It's gapping up here. Oh, I'm sharing my screen. All right, thanks. Trade station. All right, thank you. So I have this on a put spread watch. I just sent out an alert to our monthly people because they only have monthlies, not weeklies. There's still going to be volatility crushing this thing just because of the way it got crushed yesterday. So that's on my watch list. AMD. Buying Xilinx. Yeah, it was down big this morning, and my initial thought was, cool, we'll be able to sell a call spread. But that's an impressive recovery, and now it's actually a buy setup right here on pre-market 15-minute. So yeah, let's keep an eye on AMD. Xilinx, I don't even care about the acquiree. AMD, AIG. Yeah, that's right. That's right. AMD after the market, which I found that very, very strange that they waited for they purposely did the announcement before. Typically they're together, a big news announcement. So that I guarantee they had a reason for it. AIG is splitting up its company in half. So it looks like the shareholders are liking that. It's going to be extended now on the daily, but daily, weekly, monthly look higher now. This little guy, big gap up, SRRK, the gap's too big for me. VRNS, there's no volume, we'll come back to it. NXPI had earnings. That's not bad. It was gapping to the top of the range, so let's watch it. 30-minute high. Sun W. That's worth watching. Sloppy pre-market, maybe 30-minute high. Twilio was positive this morning, so I was going to keep that on my list for a 30-minute high, but now it's retracing. We'll come back to you. HLIT. Earnings, no patterns, opening flat. 131 FFIV, it's a big mess, no interest. AMKR gapping down, 1280, bearish gap. So it's bearish, but I don't know, intraday, you just have to watch it. Package. Debbie, you were watching this one yesterday, I remember. You were wanting to short it. Has earnings here. Oh, I made an adjustment on Rio here with the gap down. Let me give it to you all. One second. Rio, we are short stock. We're getting a nice gap down, so let's tighten the stop and take some money. 15-minute high. Continuing. Hey, Greg, are you listening?
Yes, of course.
What are your thoughts on this pattern? Because I called it a head and shoulders gap breakdown yesterday because the horizontal, gap was a gap breakdown. But in the bigger scheme of things, you draw a trend line from here to here, and it's a downward sloping head and shoulders.
I would never draw such a trend line.
But it's a neckline. If the right shoulder were up a little higher, it's a textbook head and shoulders.
Well, I mean, that's kind of just, I guess, talk at a dinner party, whatever. But the only thing relevant for the most part right there is the immediate part on the right that it broke down from, and just recognizing that there was a breakout failure. It's a bearish pattern.
Correct.
It's got a void below.
Right. I see one print up here, so we'll have to come back to you. If it is gap in the 90s, I don't know, it needs more help. I can't see any volume. We'll come back to you. Fabio, CNC, $63, bearish gap, so that is a call spread candidate for sure if it stays weak. Big old price void. Tech, 1279. Sure, it's recovering slowly here pre-market, but it's a gap breakdown. So put it in a little thumbnail. EX8S gapping up. Yeah, that's a bullish gap up. I like it. Yeah, I got a ton here. I'm pretty sure it'll be in my list, but yeah, I'll put it in a window on my other computer. EXAS I like. CMI 230. Yeah, light volume, but yeah, I mean, it's a beast. Daily, weekly, monthly. Keep an eye on both of those. Steve, Pfizer. Pfizer put in a decent 119 range tail on earnings. Yeah, there's just no pattern. You know, we got to come back to it. Dave Dorr, VRNS. Dave, I don't count those prints unless it has volume. Tom Hertgen, welcome. I don't recognize your name, so welcome. Yeah, 32 bucks. It's a big gap breakout, but it's, you know, it's gapping over 10%. But weekly, monthly, I have room. 35 or so. You just got to work yourself an entry. OTEX, I can't tell where it's gapping, so not sure what you're looking at, John. It is in a downtrend. It is. I mean, yesterday was a gap, bear 1, 2, 3. So, you know, it does look lower, but, and remember yesterday into the close, I said my bias was to get a 1, 2, 3 into the close. I like diamonds the best. See this consolidation, big old price void, and the market just closed before the 1, 2, 3 on the 15-minute chart at least could play out. But then I said into the close, hey, as long as we open up a little, down a little, or flat, I still wanted to trade over this resistance here. And obviously you can see the last 15-minute bar powered through it, but now we're gapping up, coming in. Depending on how the morning reversal looks, I'm still bullish. I mean, this is a gap breakout. If it reverses here for day trading, not crazy about swing trading yet. All right, where did I leave off? Mid P. Yeah, no volume. That's junk. I'm deleting you. TRU, TCF. Strong. That's a bullish retest on the monthly. Look at that. That's a retest W pattern with a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. That's worth watching. QTS is junk. MC. Little M pattern, but this one came out of a multi-month consolidation. So, you know, sure, you can short-term trade it, but I see a print up here, 39.50. We'll have to come back to it. Zoom put spread. No, I got no interest in that pattern. We can find so much better. It was a deep retracement. You got a topping tail yesterday. It's gapping into resistance. You got a bear 180 reversal on the weekly. Yeah, I gotta veto that one. We can find a lot better. In fact, I was hoping that thing would bounce and give us an M top so we could short call spreads on it. This one, you know, broke out daily, weekly, climactic monthly. That's worth watching. SynF, that had a breakout failure last week. Sell setup on the monthly, that's a big old mess. Katie. Alex, you need to add Katie to your girlfriend list. You got Ruth, you got Beth. Katie, let's keep an eye on her. That was a breakdown. Can't tell where you're opening, but we'll come back to you. LSCC, it's it's higher, it's strong, but it's a junky pattern. So I got no interest in it. APPN, I can't tell where it's gapping, but it's, you know, down 4 days. I'd rather short a bounce. So does she have a problem with that? Does she not like the word, Katie? Water, we'll come back to you. CMI. Oh, CMI actually was on our list 2 days ago on the breakout. NLV. That's just a beat up junk oil stock, no interest. Too expanded, no pattern. LRN, 31. That could be, that today could be the something bar. 30. Oh, it's gapping over this. Yes, I like this one. All right, I'm going to put that in a window. Learn, that looks great. Maybe 10, 15-minute high. Yeah, Pelletier was on our list yesterday. That's just, it was right at the prior high, but it had a beautiful gap. Yeah, it looks higher. Remember, wow, this is a junk pattern. You're gone. Remember yesterday I liked Pelletier and Spot. Spot still, you know, it's getting close to that prior high, but it could set up for day trade. Chug-a-lug, gapping down, McGraw. Oh, it's too big. It's too big. If it were gapping right under these tails, then that would be a beautiful call spread candidate. Boyd, gapping up to 36 here. It's in a strong uptrend. Let's keep an eye on it. I think I read it. I think I read LVS as looking at selling their Vegas hotel. We still have short. We got a put spread on LVS. We closed a win yesterday, break even with the market weakness. YouTube's asking about AMD. Yeah, I talked about AMD already. It's buying a company, so it's going to be volatile. I'm totally neutral here. Yesterday had no pattern. Big old. It's in a wide trading range. Gap down negated. It's a buy setup. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on AMD right now, and its earnings tomorrow morning, I think. AUDC 33. No, it's just gap in the resistance and no pattern. GOED 16. Wow, that's a big gap. Look at that gap in the all-time highs. Recent IPO. My gosh, look at that. It's gapping from 7 to 17. Look at the size of that gap now that the screen resized. Crazy. Yeah, McGraw, I mentioned put spread on that. All right, WDR, your junk. Yeah, but pre-earnings isn't good enough. This is junk, Xerox. You like Zoom. Yeah, I just don't trade in the first 5 minutes. But let's see, EXAS, I said I liked. That's a bullish gap. Learn, I said I liked. Learn looks great. I'd rather buy Learn than Zoom. Bullish gap. Looks good. Oh, McGraw, look at our $95 puts on Oh, no, it's the 105s, my bad. They just got their spready on SAP. The 105s are not, well, they're tightening very quickly. You know what, folks? And this is why you can't trade options either in the first 5 minutes, or you will get your clock cleaned. Those 105s, well, right now, they just open them up again, 90 cents by 155. So if you had a market order to close this put spread, the market maker would take all the money you just gave him and probably just, call it a day. They closed at 90 by 95. Very, very liquid. And see, that's what these jerks do at the open. CRSR. That just trades too junky for me, Jake. But it was Debbie, the California Princess, on October 19 on this gap, Jake. She mentioned it. And I remember what I told her. I said, Debbie, there's no pattern to me because of all these overlapping junk, but the gap up from this consolidation, I said, if you want it for whatever fundamental or other reasons, today is your day. So that was the day, Jake. Now you're chasing. No, I didn't. Nope. MC's on my list. I remember it, but no, I didn't look at it yet. Yeah, it's a gap and go. I can't take credit, for that. I don't trade that aggressively at the open. So even though it's working beautifully, it's working without me. Water put spread idea, McGraw, WAT. Sherwin, it's kind of a topping pattern. Let's watch that for a call spread.